This Manly side way too strong for Newcastle last week, 32 points to 10. They've won 6 of their last 7. Why have they been so successful?
I just think they're sticking to their game plan really well, and they're completing their sets and not giving away too much cheap yards. And that's a massive part of our game. And if you can do that, the best teams are doing it at the moment are the guys that are up there in the top 4. So if we can sort of not give away too much cheap yards today, hopefully we're in the game at the end of it.
Anthony Watmo out of the Manly side today. So that will see a reshuffle in the back row. But at fullback, Brett Stewart. On the wings, Michael Oldfield. William Hopewade comes back for his first game since Origin 2. In the centres, co-captain Jamie Lyon with Steve Matai. Kieran Foran is the 5'8", Daly Cherry Evans at half. Glenn Stewart locks the scrum. Shane Rodney comes into the run-on team with Joe Nullavow. Another co-captain Jason King up front with Matt Ballin and Brent Kite. The interchange, Vic Morrow, Jamie Burer, George Rose and Darcy Lussick. They are coached by Des Hasler.
So Penrith will run from left to right. Shane Hay and Ben Cummings in charge of the game. And Penrith in my favourite uniform that they wear, the Black Magic uniform. The bounce wasn't good for Brett Stewart. But Matt Ballin was back there to give some protection to his custodian, who also didn't play in that encounter earlier in the year down at Brookvale, Brett Stewart. So the opening set of 6 and Manly with first use of the football, and here's King taking it back to the 30-metre line, right in the centre of the ground. To be played there by one of the co-captains as it goes away to Glenn Stewart, who's been in superb form, supreme form really for him. He plays it on the 40-metre line now, and Joe Nullavow, who's quite familiar to this park, takes it up towards the halfway line. It's somewhat of a reunion, in fact, here today. I'll touch on that later in the commentary as the ball is sent down the ground by Cherry Evans, and Cooper's there to take it pretty much on the half volley, and he'll be taken back by the defence of Manly to the 10-metre line.
A good opening set there from the visitors, and especially from Matt Ballin from the kickoff. A lot of time when a player sees the ball go over his head, they can lose interest. But he went back, and Brett Stewart would have been very thankful because the ball bounced poorly for them.
Played there by Sam McKendry now as they go left side, and Travis Burns turns the ball in for Trent Waterhouse. So Waterhouse will play it on his own 30-metre line, and Petro is there with his hand up, and he takes it out ruggedly about 3 or 4 metres to be met there by Joe Nullavow again. And then back for the kick from Walsh, and it goes down inside the 20-metre line. The bounce is favourable there for Michael Oldfield. Well, maybe not favourable. It dribbled back towards the try line, so he's only got it back 15. And he's met then by the chase of Kingston and Nigel Plum, who's back today wearing that black headgear. Hopewade taking the run just outside his own 20-metre line, and Ballin serves it up for Rodney. Another one of those that you might say is part of this reunion, but it doesn't stop there. Travis Burns, of course, is there. Des Hasler, he's back. Phil Gould is here somewhere, just inside the 40-metre line. It's played there by King, and it's gone across now for Kite. And Kite it is who tries to get it up to halfway. He almost does that. He's over there in front of the Eastern Grandstand. Not an overly big crowd, but I don't suppose Manly and Penrith have for quite some time attracted big crowds, particularly down here at Penrith. Here's Coote bringing it back, the ball that bounced down pretty close to that touchline. He'll play it on the 20-metre line. And talking of reunions, of course, Brad Fittler is with us today on the sideline. Brad, g'day.
Hello, Rabbi. It's a wonderful afternoon for football. The lights are on, it's a little bit dark. The field looks in beautiful condition. Bit of a... both sides just filling each other out. This will get busier as we get on the afternoon. Expect a few tries, I'd say.
Ed Fittler, one of the all-time great Penrith Panthers. And here is McKendry looking to unload. Nobody really wanted to go any further forward, and so he played the ball, and Keith comes in, and he just missed the shoulder of Glenn Stewart. The ball went loose, and it's gone down to Kingston. And Walsh had to put himself back on side to take a part in all of this, and then Purtell gets a kick down. It's gone to the middle of the ground. The bounce is friendly for Stewart, and he's having a fairly relaxing afternoon as he gives it to Hopewade, and he's tackled on the 20-metre line.
Well, they were very fortunate there to kick in at all at the end of that set of 6. It was pretty poor from Penrith. Really much on that left-hand side. Lachlan Coote decided to run it. And then Luke Walsh declined the opportunity as well. Steve Matai scouts centre field. Will be out from his own line.
Nigel Plum and Sam McKendry doing the honours in defence as Cherry Evans' pass wasn't good. Not by his standards, it wasn't. Glenn Stewart made it look okay. None of ours with the ball. And he'll play the ball. Joe under the tackle there of Nathan Smith, who's playing at the back of the scrum in place of Luke Lewis. Jason King now 3 metres his own side of halfway. Just overcast. It's become more and more overcast actually as this day has progressed. We started with sunshine, which was rather unique, but now it's quite cold and clouding over, and Brad pointed out quite rightly the lights are on.
Andrew, sorry, Ray, I was just going to ask Andrew, there are defining matches for teams throughout the course of the season. Do you see this one as being one for Penrith?
Yeah, definitely stellar. They need to get this to push for that top 8 position. And they've got a strong record. I think they've won 6 from 6. You think they're a big chance today?
Purtell then on his own 40-metre line plays the ball, and Kingston goes to Walsh, and Walsh goes to Burns, and Burns goes to... Oh! Coote has taken one from Jamie Lyon. It bounced up off the ball. The initial contact, I'm fairly certain, was on the ball. And it's bounced up from Jamie Lyon, up and took the attacker basically right on the chin. But Jamie Lyon, let me rush in there to say, that's not his go.
Well, he's arguably the best defensive player in the centres in the competition. Comes up and in exactly when he needs to, and that has gone
contact with up high.
Up off the ball, no doubt about that. He's made contact high,
so it'll be a penalty.
And that is sufficient.
Hey, Petro, settle him down. Have a chat to him.
They were creating an overlap there, Penrith. Will Hopewade was a long way back, so Lyon knew that he had to get up and snuff it out.
Well, that was Travis Burns who got the warning to keep his mouth shut. Him and Cherry Evans were trading barbs.
So Walsh goes to Burns, and Burns, who gave 3 years service to Manly. It's being played by Nathan Smith now, just inside 40. Sivana Seaver was jolted in the tackle. He put an effective, well, what I thought was an effective left foot step on, but it ran straight into the hip of Jason King. Here's Burns losing the ball. He was taken there by Foran, and they just had a little scuffle. Nothing too much, just a cameo. Here's Shane Rodney now on the 40-metre line.
I think Travis is enjoying coming up against his old club as Trent Kite skips in the centre of the field, goes sideways, playing bot Plum.
I think that annual report on the player poll comes out on Wednesday, and Travis apparently, as an annoyance, comes up quite high in the voting of other players. And we might be seeing a little exhibition of that. The kid that was born in Texas in Queensland. Now it's come away to Rodney, and Rodney will play the ball just inside the 20-metre line. So here's the first real test for Penrith. They're on the last tackle, Manly. Will they go for the air? They do. Cherry Evans goes high. Jamie Lyon is after it. Sailing above them with Simmons. That's a lovely take. And he's tackled back on his own 10-metre line. Here's Jennings with speed to Bird. 22 metres out now. That was a great take by Simmons. And the penalty goes against Manly for slowing to play the ball down too long.
Michael Jennings earned his team a penalty there with a great dummy half run, but it was from the kick. He did his best work running Jamie Lyon off the ball, which gave David Simmons a clean take. Great passage there by Michael Jennings.
And that's exactly why Jamie Lyon went to the referee to complain, saying, keep an eye on that, please, sir.
So Penrith now with Walsh going away to Plum, and he's upended and beautifully tackled, I suppose you'd have to say, under the heading of the modern day tackle. It's picked up, twisted, put on his back, never put in a dangerous position. 3 of them stacked on top of him. That's a tackle. Now Sivana Seaver who plays it. Walsh goes away behind the decoy. Then it was Burns, and it's gone now back for Nathan Smith again. They're just outside the 30-metre line with penalties in the game, 2 so far, both to the home side. Here's McKendry, 25 out, down the middle, held there by Nullavow and Kite, played back to Kingston, left side play. Walsh goes on, Coote got away from Lyon, and eventually is parcelled up by Glenn Stewart on the last. Here it is out with Luke Walsh now. Long floating pass, and it's gone out to Ty. Puts a little kick in. It looks as though it's going to go dead. Yes, it does. Oh, Brett Stewart. He was cool and collected. That's an amazing stat for Penrith. I was thinking to myself, as Walsh got the ball, would they go to the air? But
Okay.
At the same time of the competition last year, they'd scored 39 tries from kicks. 39 after 19 rounds. This year, it's 13. So through the hand seems to be more their go this year. Even though Jennings has only scored one and Walsh hasn't scored one for a couple of years. His kite.
Yeah, and other clubs have reacted to that as well, I would imagine, Ray. Knowing that that's what they'll be looking to come up against. Lachlan Coote missing with injury this year as well, probably detracted from their ability in that department, but certainly clubs send players back maybe a little bit earlier against Penrith these days.
Cherry Evans then, and that face pass has gone out over the sideline. So we'll take a break from Penrith. We'll be back in just a moment.
That first when you get the ball, runs it back, play on, okay? Yeah, you hand that player.
Don't do it.
Definitely not, Brett. All right.
Sunday football on 9, and we are going to get started again with a scrum just inside the 30-metre line, down on the Penrith end of the ground, but they have the loose head and feed Penrith. Anthony Watmoe and David Williams next to each other, and behind them the former grand final victor there, Peter Peters, who of course is in charge of operations down there these days. And here is Petro again with a really strong run. It had so much value about it and inspiration. Welsh goes in for Nathan Smith, runs into the shoulder of Glenn Stewart. Now they rake it out, it'll be a penalty. There's two in the tackle, and Shane Rodney's had a deliberate dig at it.
I'll give you the mark. Hey, settle down. I'll give you the mark, and then you can do it.
There's 3-0 in the penalty count now. All one-way traffic in that department, and that was an easy one for the referee. And we saw a shot of David Williams next to Anthony Watmoe there. Of course, a change on both flanks from Manly this afternoon with Hopoate coming in. Michael Robertson also missing along with David Williams.
So Penrith have had pretty much all of the territory. And here's Sivan Asiva, 53% of possession with them, but territory, I'd say, has been more significant for them. This is McKendry, and he'll play the ball 5 or 6 metres away from the line. Nullavow the tackler, wide ball out to Walsh, a decoy from Plum, a little kick from Walsh, they've got a chance. No, it's gone. It's gone into touch off Simmons over on that left wing.
Rolled the dice, Luke Walsh. It was a nice play. He saw that they come up and in. It was a left footer. And he hit the spot, unfortunately, the bounce of the ball evades David Simmons. But I like that from Luke Walsh, only on the third play.
Here's Oldfield bringing it back, and he's tackled on the 20-metre line. Just outside the 20-metre line. He's over on our side of the ground, the western side, and Danny Lyon finished up in at first receiver, and Steve Matai was straight ahead, full rudder. Now it's with Ballin, turns it in for Nullavow, and Nullavow is wrapped up by McHenry. Kingston was in the tackle, and so was Plum. Now it's gone to King, then it's gone to Glenn Stewart, and they're down on their own 40-metre line as Ballins goes in and gets it away to Brett Stewart, who came up to first receiver. Now it's gone away to Shane Rodney, and Rodney will play the ball on the halfway line. 5 tackles gone then for Manly as it goes on to 4 in, and Kieran puts a kick in. It's going to just, offer itself to the sideline. For a moment I thought Coote was going to have to bring it out of that corner.
A nice kick there for field position, and a bit of concern out there earlier for Michael Oldfield, who brought the ball back from the scrum win. There's a hint of some high contact there, I think.
So Luke Welsh feeding it into the scrum, and this is Purtell who comes out to almost the 20-metre line. Running away from the northern end of this ground, Waterhouse. He comes back to the team, and Luke Lewis, of course, goes out of the team. And obviously they're a much better team when both of these veterans of Penrith are out there together. As he goes away now to Burns, and Stewart is with him, and so is Cherry Evans. So the ball played by Travis on the far side, and then Waterhouse shaped to give a little pass to McKendry. McKendry was shouldered for his effort of running some assistance there, and then Walsh puts a kick down the ground. He rakes it. It's going down into the corner, and Brett Stewart is with it, and he decides to go back towards the sideline, and Simmons is over there in jumper number 2 together with Jennings to make the tackle.
And speaking of the sideline, Brad Fittler, we get the feeling there's a little bit of niggle and feeling in this game. Is that the impression you're getting from down there?
Yeah, it's just started. Started with the Travis Burns out the other side of the field. Got Steve Maddai likes it. He's been mixing it up a little bit. I love it when there's niggle, Sterling. Gets a crowd involved.
There's Foran, he spotted a gap and he went for all the acceleration he could find, but it was closed by Brad Tye. Maddai capitalises on a quick play the ball from Foran, and he takes it down to the halfway line. Played again quickly by him. Ballon then puts a little kick over, and it's gone back into the corner, and so Coote comes away from the 10, and Maddai goes down the ground and wraps him up and puts him away, and then points to the touchy. Did he not knock that ball on? Purtell then runs crabwise, and Cherry Evans picks him off. About 15 minutes of the game gone, and no score on the board yet. And this is David Simmons with the ball. Here's Coote coming back, and Maddai gets him, puts him. Oh, he did lose the ball.
He's on a mission today, Maddai.
Detective Maddai was right.
Your man, Maddai.
Detective Constable Maddai was right. Plum back to Kingston. Kingston back to Jennings. Went backwards. Connors with it again. 5 gone. And they're 7 metres on their own side of halfway. Jennings spearing it away for Walsh to put a kick in. Stewart goes back. Oldfield and Stewart both watch it though. No, it's not going to do what they want it to do. So Stewart picks it up and gives it to Oldfield. And Oldfield is picked off by Jennings. Not secured. Nathan Smith does that. 20 metres out from their own line. And Brett Stewart gives the pass for Hopewata. It hasn't really been a game for Brett Stewart to put on his exhilarating attack. Not yet anyway. But he'll have plenty of petrol in the tank when that opportunity arrives. Just watching this game unfold. This is Shane Rodney. Almost to the halfway line. 7 metres on his own side, in fact, as it goes away from Ballon to Kite. And Kite thought about King, but King might have needed a forward pass to get the ball to him. Ballon then away for Foran, and there's that kick again down into this corner. Lachlan Coote, he might as well pitch a tent down there, because that's where Kieran Foran has decided you're going to play the game, Lachlan. And Maddai goes down with Foran, and they wrap him up in that northwestern corner of Centrevic Stadium. Here's Simmons taken by James Lyon. He came through with a lot of gusto. In fact, the captains, they made the tackle. Purtell floats it. Jennings is with it. Jennings over there on Hopewata and Evans, and he's put down Peter.
Well, what a good battle this is developing into, and the Manly players from outside in, coming in with some heavy defence, and on the back of that, Penrith again going that way to try and take advantage of the fact that they might be out of position as Nigel Plum put onto his rump. Last tackle now. This time Lachlan Coote down the far side looks to find open space and does so beautifully.
So Hopewata getting a nice bounce, and it's Coote who leads the procession down the ground with Kingston to make the tackle. So ball played by William Hopewata, and the ball eventually going to ground in the next tackle of Brent Kite, still inside the 20-metre. In fact, it was Oldfield, still inside the 20-metre line. Here's Maddai, involving a couple of Penrith players in the tackle, including the number 7. Stewart gives the ball to Rodney now, and Rodney is 35 away from his own line. No score on the board. The attendant having quite a relaxing day at the moment. Here's King, just on the 40-metre line, his own end of the park. Cherry Evans with this kick. He keeps it low and rakes it. And it's gone down and bounced again to Coote. Down in this corner again. Coote's corner, we'll call it. Coote's corner. Should put a mixed business down there, a little general store. He'll play it 10 metres out from his own line. And here's Simmons running at Cherry Evans. And he's one of those halfbacks. He doesn't mind a little bit of the rugged stuff, Cherry Evans. And that's the same for Foran as it is for blokes like Mitchell Pearce. They don't mind it, the defensive side of it.
It's been put back on their heels at the moment, Penrith, in this set of 6. Physically, they've been matching it with Manly, but they've struggled to get out on this set as Nathan Smith does very, very well to spin out of a couple, but then throws a wayward pass that is knocked on by Glenn Stewart.
Knock on Manly. He was on the ground and he's knocked before.
The look on his face said, no, you're joking. And that's not a knock on, that's backwards, but there's a little bubble there, a little, not a bubble, but a bobble, to use a guthism, but Glenn gets up and says, you're kidding, aren't you? He felt that he had possession. But those first two instances were not knock-ons, but he got pinged for that last little indiscretion. Penrith winning the scrum then, and it's gone on to Burns, and Burns goes away now for Michael Jennings. He fends again, and he steps, and then he tries to make ground up the middle, and Kite is there. He's elusive, isn't he, Jennings? Grant is on, and Petro's come off. He's Trent, and Waterhouse takes it 35 away from the Manly line. Held by Brent Kite in the tackle. Walsh drifting, Plum cuts him out, goes to Coop. Coop looks to unload. He does unload. He gets it to Travis Burns, and a lovely tackle by Brett Stewart. 15 out from the line, and it's a penalty. It's a penalty, and Luke Walsh immediately points to the bench and says, 2 points served. He's still saying it to his captain. Burns is down injured.
Who's captain now?
It's a good question. Who's captain now? Luke Walsh is looking at Trent Waterhouse.
Who is the captain now? Trent, what would you like to do?
He'd like to have
He's got no idea.
Have you called time as a flop, mate? Blatant flop.
He could have said, how would I know? I didn't even know I'm captain.
Very late. Back here.
But anyway.
Declined the 2 points here and going for more.
When he calls time on, mate, okay.
I like that decision, Sterlo.
Yeah, well, it's a
Okay,
positive
Kevin.
I
one.
think he's going to open up this game. It's been a real arm wrestle, but here they go on the attack, the Penny Panthers.
Lengthy delay in making the decision, though. That has aided Manly to set their line and suck them in. Played by Grant. Here's Kingston to Walsh, and Walsh away for Burns. And Burns' pass is bad, but Jennings is able to scoop it up and keep it alive. But now 4 of them are there to hold him on the 10-metre line. Second tackle gone for Penrith. This is a really good opportunity, probably the best of the game so far. Grant with his right shoulder leading is taken by Bureau. Now they're 3 away, as you can see. Played for Kingston to turn it in for McKendry, and McKendry is running to that brick wall. Can't get the arm free to offer a pass. The 4th tackle is gone. Played again for Kingston. Long for Walsh. Long then to Burns. Down lower for Coote. Got away from Jamie Lyon. Got a ball over the top magnificently for Simmons. Back to Burns. The ball has gone now to Walsh. Walsh is with the ball, and he will play it. Penrith losing ground on that play. Here's the last now. It's gone to Coote. Puts a little left foot. Well, it wasn't such a little kick. It's quite a high. Oh, David Simmons, beautiful through the air. And Nigel Plummer's got the ball, but that has changed them.
Nigel, just
how good in the air is
Simmons?
Simmons?
The ball on the ground, pick it up.
Exciting
He'll
stuff.
play there with the foot. Okay,
Great
play the
defence
ball.
from Manly on their own line, and you're right, David Simmons, the second time this afternoon, he has outleapt everybody by a comfortable margin.
So Manly bringing it away from their 10-metre line. You can show your support for local rugby league clubs and buy a ticket in the Toyota Monster Raffle. You could win one of 2 Toyota Corollas and be presented with the keys on NRL Grand Final Day. To show your support and buy a ticket, go to that website at the bottom of the screen and click on the Toyota Monster Raffle icon. That's how simple it is. Most popular car, I think, in Australia these days, Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, like what Des Hasler's gone to his bench with Jamie Bureau coming on. He'll play on the left side with Kieran Fawn. They struck up a great combination this year. I think they'll send plenty of traffic at Luke Walsh down this left side.
Steve Maddai taking the tap, and it's gone away from third, finding Morrow. Vic Morrow, who used to be Vic Morrow, out of the Warren Dictionary, but I got corrected on that. And here is Stewart turning it in for Jamie Lyon. He goes across the 20-metre line. He beat a tackle. He's got the fend out. Looks to unload, but was he held? He scores now. He's going to give this try, Cummins.
Well, he'll definitely give it because you could hear him say, not held. So Jamie Lyon had every right to get up and continue on because he wasn't being held by a defensive player. A scything run back on the inside here of Glenn Stewart. And there's plenty of defenders here confronting Jamie Lyon, but he skipped through a couple of tackles. Is let go there by Lachlan Coote. And again, you can hear the audible sound of the referee saying, play on, play on. 4 becomes 6.
But Lachlan Coote, you'll find, on slow-mo, has just dropped off before that, in fact, eventuated. 6-0 in favour of the Eagles. He's having a hell of a game, isn't he? Brad Fittler sideline.
Yeah, he's defensively as well. It looks like both sides are trying to shift their way out of trouble. Anytime they go through the middle, especially with numbers, they really find some blokes a bit lazy around the middle. Here's Lyons missed going through. That's Coote. All you had to do was lay a hand on him. Then Weston, then Plum. It's the first points of the game.
So here is George Rose bringing the ball back just inside the 20-metre line then for Manly. For Prince, the first points of the game coming after 25 minutes. That's how tight it was. And probably Penrith had more opportunities than Manly, really. Burer on the 30-metre line, taken by Plum and Brad Tye. Here's Rodney, and Rodney aims himself at the defence there of the number 15 for the Panthers, Dane Weston, who's out there now, as Brad Fittler pointed out. Here's Morrow. He'll play the ball near the halfway line, near the centre of the ground. Waterhouse and Smith making the tackle. Cherry Evans with that kick that he is able to keep it low when he wants to. It's gone down to Simmons, and Simmons has had the ball taken. It's a chance for Manly. It's an unload from Maddai, and Lyon. It's gone to Cherry Evans, and they're over again. Well, he didn't have security on the football, David Simmons.
First, can you check whether that should go
And
forward
I
or
think
back,
it's
boys?
just a simple one-on-one pinch. I don't even know if it was a deliberate pinch, but it's a try for Manly.
No, I reckon it will be deliberate, and we go upstairs to see if the strip goes forwards or backwards. Kieran Foran there rips the ball out. We'll get another angle. If that ball has come forward towards this try line, it will be a knock-on from Kieran Foran, in my opinion. It's kind of hard to work out the angle there.
Daly, Cherry Evans. No, it's no try.
What they've ruled is that with Kieran Foran raking the football out, despite the fact that it's finished backwards,
because he's going to score,
he's put it into the Penrith player actually carrying the football.
He's blown it up.
Going forward into the
Who's
Penrith
lost
player,
it?
then it's going back.
Well, I find that totally unbelievable, to be honest with you. I don't think there was ever any separation between ball and arm carrying the ball from David Simmons, and the last piece of flesh that touched the ball before it went backwards was Simmons. So I don't know where Bernard Sutton got that one from, but he's made the decision, and Coote has given the ball away to David Simmons now. Brad Fittler sideline.
One of the problems a lot of players have these days is when he hit the line, the ball was the point at either end of his arm. He's going to have one of those in his hand and the other one under his arm. You watch this. The ball at the top and bottom, ball showing both sides. That's easy to rip out. You watch Michael Jennings as well. He's got a very loose carry.
Meantime, players with Nathan Smith, and he plays it on the halfway line, and Tim Grant, wearing 17, is tackled now. Play back for Kingston to the right side, and he stabs it into that corner down there, occupied by Oldfield. And Oldfield, big lump of a boy, and he's very fast. He's on the 20-metre line. It's Hopper Whitey, so it's winger to winger, really.
Has always been our contention. If you have got a poor ball carry, you should and will pay the penalty. But Penrith, that was a huge stroke of luck there, or good fortune, I should say, trailing by 12. Very, very tough to come from behind Manly. The momentum with the Eagles at the moment. By 6. They are well and truly in this contest.
So Manly have kept their record of being the first try scorer very much intact. They were 10 from 11, now 11 from 12. As first try scoring team. And Cherry Evans puts a kick in. After it is Stewart, but it's taken by Coote, and here is a counter punch from say 6 more for Kevin Kingston. He must have gone close there to getting a penalty. Walsh is with the ball, but he's also surrounded by defence. Glenn Stewart making a lot of tackles. That's his 13th contribution. And now the 18 for Penrith, that's Matthew Bell. He'll play the ball. And it's come from Travis Burns and go away to Weston, and Weston will play it on the 40-metre line, over there on the eastern side of the ground. Ball comes away now to Walsh, and he goes back on the inside for Coote to give it to Waterhouse, and the 14 is out there. Seluini, I guess is the way to pronounce it. It's come now to Walsh, and Walsh puts a kick in. It's going to sit back in this in goal. It hits the pad. Stewart takes it, and he's taken there by Nathan Smith and will be made to play the ball.
He was unlucky there, Luke Walsh. He wanted the ball to go in goal, but the big pad stopped it doing so. I think they've got to play straighter like that, Penrith. Brad Fittler pointed out how they're prepared to go wide very often, maybe sometimes to their detriment. With Burer, nice footwork, 15 out.
He's had the headgear removed. Young Burer. Hopewade is with the ball now, and he's just inside the 30-metre line. Manly then 6-0, and to be quite frank with you, I thought it should have been 12-0, but that's good fortune for Penrith. This is Rodney, almost to the 40-metre line. Two-man tackle involving Waterhouse and Burns. And here's Cherry Evans with the bulk of the kicking in this portion of the game anyway, directing the kicking game down the middle that time to Coote, taken by Burer.
Yeah, Robs, you mentioned number 14, Salawini, who's from the Warriors, played in the under-20s premiership winning team last year. Watch him in a dummy half. He's lightning.
He is giving the ball to Tim Grant. And he is appealing to the referee for the defenders being there too long, but he goes to Walsh, and Walsh goes back into Purtell, and Purtell will play the ball. Again, rolled onto his back by Morrow. Good tackle, 35 metres out. Walsh turns it in. This is Weston. Weston just inside the 30-metre line. Played back to Seluini, you say. Now it's Walsh, and Walsh puts a kick up. And there's a bit of hang time there, and Brett Stewart is there, but it's come back off, I think Penrith, back to Penrith, but it's a penalty going to Manly. They're inside the 10, in front of the kicker, and he's pointing to Seluini. Shane Hayne, one of our more senior referees, had no hesitation. He may have even got some help, I don't know, but there's the kick. Where is Seluini? Well, there he is over there to the left.
Well, he was the dummy half, and they both took the same amount of steps forward, so he was never, ever in behind the kicker.
You're right, Joey, he is very quick.
Thanks, Rick. With my on the line, don't go
tap Matt. On the 40-metre line, Manly's in. Burer. We have 32 minutes of this game. Sunday afternoon football on 9. And a big one coming up for you next Friday night as Morrow goes to Cherry Evans and away to George Rose. And Rose to play the ball. Eagles up against Tigers. Manly versus the Tigers at Bluetongue next Friday. And the Queensland game that you'll see live, you people in the North, Broncos up against the Sharks. And his forehand going to Brett Stewart. He puts a little toe poke on it, and Oldfield has got the ball. And still a couple remaining. In fact, that was the fourth, and now it's Foran, now it's Burer, now it's Cherry Evans. Here is Glenn Stewart out wide. He turns it in. Jamie Lyon goes without it. And the Eagles leading 6-0.
And a bit fortunate there too, Penrith, the inside ball back to Jamie Lyon. Normally they get that right, Manly. It went to ground. They went from one side to the other very quickly after the break. Adrian Purtell receiving some attention out on the wingies. Popped one in the beak. Blood coming out. As the Panthers take it forward. It looks like Dane Weston.
Seluini playing the ball, and here is Burns inside for Waterhouse and further in for Jennings. 40-metre line for Jennings. Seluini away to Tim Grant now. This big lump of a fellow. Tim Grant plays the ball on the halfway line. And then it goes away to Coote up at first, and then Walsh away for Ty. And Ty is taken by Foran, leaves it on the ground. Purtell scoops it back to keep it alive. Walsh torpedoes the ball to Coote. Similar type pass across to Weston, developing an overlap on the left, although Manly are sliding in defence. Jennings is given the ball, and now it's gone back to Waterhouse. And he's able to throw the pass, but it's come down to Cherry Evans, and Cherry Evans has been flung into touch on the far side of the ground.
Set move there by Penrith. Run the ball one side, shift it the other, throw it inside to Cherry Evans and throw him over the sideline. Well done. Kept to the script.
Well, we've worked out now why last year they'd scored 39 tries, this year only 13, because they just run it every time on the last tackle without kicking. Both Lachlan Coote and Luke Walsh had, again, opportunities to kick, but they decided to throw the long cutout pass, and, gee, how they got out of that with possession through a scrum 28 metres out is anyone's guess.
So Penrith with an attacking opportunity here, and Coote and Ty with the ball now. 25 away. Down the middle, Glenn Stewart holding him down. Selvierini back for Smith, and Smith is upended by Bureau. They might have put him in a dangerous position here. Well, that's what Cummins is saying.
Just let me know what you're going to do. Okay, they're taking the tap. Yep, he's right. Yours, mate.
So Grant in the back of the tap penalty. And he's done well. He's got it that close. 3 metres, in fact. And they go long. The way to Walsh, and running a decoy bell. It's gone from Coote. Oh, beautiful flick pass out the back from Burns. But it's gone over the sideline. In attendance with Waterhouse, I think, and Manly are high-fiving one another for their defensive efforts.
Yeah, flick pass there kept the play alive, but the scrambling defence from Manly was fantastic. A beautiful charge there, first up from Tim Grant. And then going wide again, but by going sideways, they allow the defence to come across, and it arrives in the shape of Glenn Stewart, Brett Stewart. And there might have been a bit of Matt Ballin in there late as well.
The experienced defenders on the edge with Lyon and Maddai. It's very hard to play around Manly.
Talking of Maddai, he's with the ball now, just outside the 20-metre line. Here's George Rose, and he's held inside the 30. Matthew Bell in 18 on George Rose, a couple of the big men in the game. Now Bureau, taken by Nathan Smith, Travis Burns, and over the top Tim Grant. Manly then by 6, coming up towards the half-time break in 2.5 minutes from now. That's Morrow on the 40-metre line. Down the middle corridor come Manly again. Ballin to Cherry Evans, then Glenn Stewart, Jamie Lyon, ran decoy. Brett Stewart comes in from the back. And 5 tackles gone now for the Eagles from Manly. Now for Cherry Evans, and it's gone back over for Foran to put a kick in. Simultaneously, the kick as the defence came in, so there's no problem there. Coote is with the ball. Manly then have been on our screens for, 3 weekends in a row for Sunday, and then aiming up for Friday next week. So Manly again on Figueroa next Friday night, as the ball goes away for Weston to make this contribution. 35 metres out from his own line. 6-0 in favour of Manly. A try was scored by Jamie Lyon at the 25th minute of the game. Tim Grant playing the ball near halfway. Selvierini getting it away to Walsh. Goes back into the middle. For Brad Ty, there's an obstruction. Obstruction is run behind Jennings. So Manly will just have time to put a set together.
It's unfortunate for Penrith. They'll like that play, but Rabs bringing the speed man into the middle of the field. See Jennings and both Bradley Ty in the middle of the field there. Unfortunately, it's Shepherd, but I like that play. Bring the speed man in, trying to get a mismatch around the ruck.
They don't rule out a field goal here if they haven't scored. Time almost up. That's Jamie Lyon taking the restart inside 20.
So Morrow in the direction of the play, very much coming towards the centre of the ground. With Ballin going to Cherry Evans. Now they've gone out to the edge, and it's come off Brett Stewart. It's a knock on. Jennings is with the ball. There's no advantage there with the position in which Jennings was tackled. So this scrum will barely have time to pack. Tickets for the 2011 NRL Telstra Grand Final. They go on sale to the general public this Thursday at 10 a.m. So if you want to guarantee your seat at Rugby League's big day, and it's going to be a fantastic day, go to Ticketek on 132849 or go to ticketek.com.au/NRL Grand Final. So Walsh it is who gives it to Simmons. 30 seconds of the first half remaining. Just the one allowed try, one disallowed. And this is Weston who'll play the ball. Back to Saliuini before Grant goes up and he runs into the shoulder of Bura. Inside the 40-metre line, played back to Saliuini and then away from Burns and gone to Walsh, and then it's out to Smith, and Smith is taken, and that's just about it, you would think, if our timepiece is right. It does sound, but the play the ball was in time, and Saliuini drops it on the ground. Burns comes back. They're not done yet. Smith crosses halfway. I thought his pass was forward to Weston. Weston throws a dummy. Mattai's got him. Got the ball back to Purtell. He gets it to Jennings. Jennings gets a bump in the side from Glenn Stewart. Jennings, look at him. In, out of way. Bobbing, ducking, weaving. Purtell floats the ball over. Gone back to Smith. Floats the ball out now. It's gone to Burns. Gone to Walsh. He points him down into the corner. Cooper's there. Now they knock on. So that's the end of the first half, but oh, what an exhibition of never say die from the men in black Penrith. They go to the half-time break, trailing 6-0 against Manly at Centrebet Stadium. Time on to the second half, and Manly, the kickoff that I get the impression Cherry Evans wanted it to be deeper than it was. He almost took a divot with the kickoff. There's a good strong run by Weston to get things moving in the second half. Panthers trailing 6-0. Completions at half-time, 17 from 25, Penrith. So they had 4 more uses than Manly, who've completed 15 from 21. So as I pointed out, to be in front 6-0, it's been a tidy performance by Manly.
I'm sure neither coach would have been happy with the error count, 6-all, despite the fact Penrith had more football. They weren't any better in controlling it than the Manly team as Luke Walsh stabs it into the area around the goal post, and Will Hopoate well positioned to take it.
So here's Hopper playing it inside the 20-metre line. And again, it's Oldfield coming across from his wing to take that next play. Now it's Morrow. They take it up the middle to the 30-metre line. Glenn Stewart, flick out the back. Ballon, a catch and pass. Rodney, taken by Weston in 15, and this fellow Saliuini in 14. Rolling ball picked up by Foran, and he'll play the ball in the middle of the ground exactly. Cherry Evans, and basically chipping it into touch over on the eastern side of the ground, which we'll see a scrum form about 12 metres out from the line. 20 metres in as this overcast condition probably thickens a little bit. The lights have been on since kickoff, but the actual skyline seems to be thickening as this afternoon progresses. Penrith, for the 5th time, held, or should I say Manly for the 5th time, holding an opposition scoreless in the first half. Played by Purtell then. And this is Bell, who is tackled on the 30-metre line. Oh, Saliuini has knocked on a dummy half. So here is an opportunity for Manly to go strong on attack.
That's the kind of mistakes that justifies the kick from Daly Cherry Evans, just kicking the ball down for field position. He bounced off his own foot before he went down to try and pick it up. Kick for field position and then force a mistake. Now he didn't have to force it. It was handed to them.
Cherry Evans with the feed. Then it's from Foran to Matai. Matai to play it 20 metres away. Bura takes on the forwards. Bell leading the defence with Grant. 15 away from the line. Cherry Evans inside for Rose. Rose is taken low by Seluini and Grant up the top. Cherry Evans again. Glenn Stewart, a run around with Cherry Evans, and he got a ball away to Brett Stewart, and then it's gone into touch. Hopewadi had no room to work in. Neither did Brett Stewart, for that matter, and it would have been a freakish try had they pulled it off.
Well, he thought that there was something on the outside there. Run around Daly. Cherry Evans got in behind the line and popped a pass, and all of a sudden Brett Stewart realised it was almost 2-on-1. As Ray pointed out, no room to move. The passes not finding the mark. So again, Penrith survive.
So off their own 10-metre line they come through Simmons, the winger. Bura in the headgear making the tackle, and Matthew Bell 25 away from his line. One of the players from Penrith leaving the club at the end of this year. If memory serves me correctly, this is Brad Tye with the ball inside the 40-metre line. Walsh along the line, Burns inside, Weston standing, and I think he was prepared to pass. He was probably unsighted that Seluini was there and available. Here's Grant. His career just seemingly is in a punctuation mark, or has been, with injury, as Walsh sends it down to find the line, down about 8 metres out from the line. I think that's a fair description of Tim Grant. I recall we were talking 12 months ago, maybe a touch more, that he was bound for stardom. And I'm not saying he's not still, but there was an injury that really slowed down his progress as a rugby league player.
Yeah, I think it was a lower leg injury, an ankle injury, from memory. Something.
Well, the very fact he's back on the bench as the interchange, you know, I think he's a starting prop forward. And it's an impressive prop rotation, isn't it? Petro Sivanasiva, Tim Grant, Sam McKendry, a Kiwi international. And I've got to say that Dane Weston off the bench this afternoon has been just about their best forward.
He has been good, hasn't he? Talking of the bench, George Rose and Trent Waterhouse eventually lifting him off the ground and getting him onto the turf. It's not an easy assignment with George. And Bura playing the ball. Matai with it now. That little play the ball by Jamie Bura, I've seen referees penalised for something similar to that. And that's where we all get a little bit irate from time to time with the lack of consistency. So played then by Shane Rodney. Cherry Evans, oh, that's an awful pass, but it's found Jamie Lyon successfully, and he reefs it down over the head of David Simmons, and away he comes now outside the 10-metre line, and he's run into Foran and Stewart, and in there as well as Jamie Lyon. So Jennings goes out to Coote, and Coote is held by Ballin and Bura, right on the 20-metre line, middle of the ground. Penrith coming away from the southern end of the ground, and Grant picked up and put down, mainly by Morrow. Now Walsh, cross, and Brad Tye comes back and steps off his left foot, hoping for a gap up the middle. Play back to Seluini, and Rodney has got him at the second attempt. You play the ball 5 metres on his own side of halfway, and that's an awful pass to give the little halfback, but he got it onto the boot, and Brett Stewart was going to let it go, but again it's come back in, and Stewart is forced to take it back and be tackled now inside the 30-metre line by Purtell and Tye. His old field to the middle of the ground.
I'm sure that Penrith need to be the next to score. I think if Manly get 2 converted tries in front, or even just the 2 tries in front, their defence is going to go on and win this game. But if Penrith can get the next points, all of a sudden they might just grow in confidence here in front of their home fans. Tackle made just on their own side of halfway, the Eagles.
Morrow taken by Nathan Smith. Tim Grant, Weston. Now Cherry Evans kicking on the opposition 40-metre line. Jennings is tackled by Cherry Evans. Burns passes to Simmons. Simmons straightens as he goes up towards halfway. Seluini Looking for Grant. There's the big fella taking it ahead. He's gained plenty of metres with his carries. And Seliuini goes on to Walsh, who goes away to Bell now. And Bell comes back off his right foot. And he'll play the ball just inside the 40-metre line. Manly's end of the park now. Penalty to Penrith.
Don't leave the hand in there.
Hand on the ball. Shane Hayne saying you can't leave your hand there on the ball after the tackle's made. Against Matt Ballon. See that? That's illegal.
I can't believe Penrith looked to the sideline there to get confirmation to kick for touch and not try and take the 2 points. They need to get over the line shortly. They've had ample opportunities this afternoon, but really haven't looked like getting over. Now they've got to, somehow they've got to manufacture some points.
Play by Weston. Here's Grant, strong, driving it back in behind the ruck. He'll play the ball 10 metres out from the line. Here's Walsh. Walsh, dummy to Bell, went back to Burns. Burns to Jennings. Jennings taken to ground. 10 metres out from the line. 4 tackles gone. 3rd tackle gone, I should say. Playing 4 now. Walsh in the middle, away to Weston. Weston aimed it at Rose and Bureau. And so he'll play the ball with the line a couple of metres away. Seliuini, a long ball out to Walsh. Off his right foot comes Burns. Lays it out the back. Walsh shoots it along the ground. Smith has got the ball and he goes to ground. And it's another penalty to Penrith.
Steve Manaway, he's been offside for the whole
He's
stick.
playing an advantage.
Mate, I'm hearing your name and you're not getting back.
You've been offside.
No, you weren't.
So Ben Cummins giving Penrith the advantage, then giving the penalty. Here's Grant taking it to 3 metres from the line. 6-0 in favour of Manly. Chance here for Penrith though. Walsh, he goes to Bell and gives it. He gives it to Coote and Coote's over. Did he get it down before the line? Cummins was there. He's going to point to the spot. So it's 7 tries from 7 matches at Penrith for Coote this year.
And that's the kind of play we've been looking for, not the sweeping second man plays that are well read by the outside Manly defenders who rush in when needed or just stay back and slide. With the short pass and then a lovely offload here from Matt Bell. Luke Walsh, you can see the outside Manly defenders coming up quickly. That opened up the space.
Travis Burns.
One of your best, you two.
Well, that's the best. I've done plenty of mocking. That's the best I've done. Here's a break. 6-4 in favour of the Eagles. Please don't set. Well, Sterling has set me a bear trap and I've jumped in head first. And poor old Travis Burns has felt the complete disappointment of having me wrap him. What is that figure?
Well, he had kicked 24 from 25. Now he's missed 2.
24 from 25 till I got involved.
Mistake from Penrith here. Manly with the football.
So Ballon to play the ball 20 metres away from the line, and here is Bureau. Now they're 9 away. 6-4 in favour of Manly. And now from Jerry Evans, Brett Stewart's coming to the back line. He's got the ball to Jamie Lyon. Gone now to Stewart. I saw a mouth guard go flying through the air. Stewart will play the ball. Played then, back for Ballon. He goes left side. Jerry Evans to Jason King. And King held by 3 defenders. 3 metres out from the goalpost at the southern end of the ground. Penrith, they're asked to defend now. It goes away to Foran, and Foran is held by Seliuini. 5 away from the line. 5 tackles gone for Manly. 1 more for Penrith to defend on. Jerry Evans puts a kick over judiciously. Oh, it's come down off the hands of Jamie Lyon.
Gone from him to another player. Here.
No, against Penrith.
Oh, this is strange.
He's not going to change it.
This is strange. I thought it was propelled forward by Jamie Lyon.
He caught it on the full. Yeah, the wrong player. Huh? You can't have 2, 3 different people juggling the ball.
Doesn't matter. That it's
a goal.
There's a handle from...
No.
But that's
It's a goal on, Butch.
Oh, gee, I thought for a moment it was off Jamie, but I can see where Jennings has got involved.
I think it's a good call,
and it's gone backwards to centre. No, he's right. Shane Hayne is right. I'm ready to apologise.
He hasn't touched it at all, Jamie.
No, you're right, Peter. I'm just sort of doing some housework here, private housework, but Shane Hayne was absolutely right. was knocked back by Jennings and taken dead by Simmons. It's that simple. This is Kite with the ball. 35 metres out from the line. So it's with Foran blindside and Matai down to the 20-metre line. Purtell in defence has obviously had a problem with the nose in this game. And he's heavily strapped. He's over on that right side as Cherry Evans sends Glenn Stewart back in that direction. There's Brett Stewart running off his brother. Played back to Ballon. They're mounting some pressure here, aren't they, Manly? 5 gone now. And Glenn Stewart finds himself a dummy half, and he gets it away for Foran. Foran goes across Bureau. Brett Stewart there onto the boot of Matai. The ball is loose. And the referee wants to have a look at this.
Just check the grounding here, mate. There's 2 blokes going for the ball here. We'll check grounding.
Wants to have a little bo peep at this.
Yeah, well, there didn't seem to be immediate reaction from the Manly players. It's not as though they went up as one thinking that they'd scored. But certainly the video referee has been called in here, running it on the last tackle. Steve Matai knows it's the last, so he kicks the football after getting it from Brett Stewart. Players on his inside and outside immediately are okay, but everyone else is in front, including Kieran Foran. The ball goes to ground. It's off the boot of Lachlan Coote. It's cleaned up by Luke Walsh. There's no try. It's just a matter of where the ball is finished in the arms of Lachlan Coote. Well, the knock-on is first from... That's from Luke Walsh. The first knock-on is from Lachlan Coote, so I'm assuming it's a Manly feed. Okay, well, they're saying that Lachlan Coote did not knock on.
No, he knocks it backwards. There's no doubt about that. And Walsh was tackled, and momentum in the tackle carried him into the in goal. He's forced the ball. It's a line dropout. Hayne is right. Again. Hayne again is right. So Warriors 48 beat Rabbitohs 16 in the other game played this afternoon. 48-16. Warriors over the Rabbitohs. I was reading where Greg Inglis was saying this morning we can still make the 8. Here's King. And flopping it out the back for Ballon to find Foran, and Foran swivelling. Nathan Smith eventually getting him to ground. Matai goes to a leaping Brent Kite, and Kite is up to within 7 metres of the line again. 6-4 in favour of Manly. As it's played back to Ballon, gone to Cherry Evans, and he gives it to Shane Rodney, as most of us thought he was going to go behind and go to Brett Stewart. Here's Ballon for Cherry Evans, now to Brett Stewart, and he runs into Jennings and Burns, and coming in over the top is Waterhouse. So Jamie Lyon to Cherry Evans, and he puts it into the rump of Grant, and then it's Bell for play on. That's okay. It's good work by this big fella, Bell.
That could be the biggest play of the game for Penrith. They look back on a victory here. Showed great urgency and desperation. And that's 3 sets in a row they've had to defend. So Tim Grant now takes it out. Done a good job.
Grant playing the ball, 25 out from his line. Brad Fittler sideline, a comment.
Yeah, Ruby, the rain's starting to fall, so this might bring a few errors into the game. I've got to say, I spoke to Jeff Tuvey at half-time, and I think they were under the belief that if they just kept rolling along, they're going to win this game no problem. I think they need to do more than that. You know, there just seems to be a little lack of intensity. I think they feel like they've got it wrapped up. It's just a matter of time. I don't think you can do that at Penrith Park with the sort of blokes like Jennings and Coote in your side. They need to up the tempo.
And William Hopoate running into a solid shoulder from Nigel Plum, but it didn't secure the tackle. And here's Jamie Lyon putting himself into the game again. He'll play the ball under the tackle of Grant. Ballon goes away. Grant was offside. He could take no part. And then the low tackle by Kingston is made on Ballon. Glenn Stewart gives it to Kieran Foran, turns it in for Bureau. Bureau back to Cherry Evans. Nigel Plum on Cherry Evans. He beats him. Runs away from Waterhouse by reversing. And then Nigel Plum comes back into the equation to make the tackle with Waterhouse. They're 20 metres out from the line. Nullavow back on. King passes. Foran gives it on. Stewart comes in. Left foot step, but it doesn't carry him past Walsh. Played back to Matai. It's gone to Foran. Foran kicks across. He's looking for Jamie Lyon. Oh, there's this man again. The aerialist, David Simmons. His high-flying trapeze act has been absolutely beautiful today. And
he has the ball stripped here. They've done some work in this area.
Oh, Matai on Grant Peter, sorry. Wacky do. Now, there's a bit of dissension about this tackle. Where does he get him? What's wrong with that?
I think he's offside, Raps.
Is he offside?
I've been watching him the last 10 minutes, Matt. He's been edging, trying to come outside in, put a shot on. That time he got it right, but just jumped the gun.
So it's offside you're talking about rather than foul play.
Oh,
Is it any wonder he comes up with injuries like no other player I've seen in the game, as many injuries as Matter, who throws himself in like a missile.
It's one of your favourites, Rap.
Oh, you're just getting a bit of Gusitis, that's what you're getting. Here's Sivanaseva now. 38 metres out from the Manly line. Oh no, he's throwing some lethal shots. I'm not going to deny that, but sometimes he pulls off big ones, big booming tackles, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is an aggressive, violent game. Walsh then flopping it over, and Coop came in, and Burns, he thought he had one there, but there wasn't. Jennings has recovered, and Glenn Stewart it is that's tackled inside the 30-metre line. 6-4, Manly over Penrith as Waterhouse goes ahead. So Penrith now are 17 metres out from the line. From the dummy half to Walsh, and Walsh lets one go behind him, and that gets the pass away to Smith. And Nathan will play the ball. 10 out on 5. Middle of the ground. Kingston, Walsh. Walsh goes back. Floats the ball over to Brad Tye. Defence outnumbers attack. They've got to move urgently, though. That's a line drop out. And we will break and come back. 6-4.
Make sure you're behind this line, Manly.
Sunday football on Channel 9 with some wonderful programs coming up following the news at 6. Australian movie tonight at 8:30, well worth a watch. When I say Australian, some of our best actors. Here's Grant to the 30-metre line. He'll play it for Kingston. Oh, Kevin Kingston, I can't believe it. He's one of the safest in the business. And just when you had a real good chance, he knocks on the first tackle.
Over here on this line.
That's an anticlimax, isn't it?
Oh, it's a cruel game, isn't it, when it happens to blokes like Kingston.
He's the only Penrith player to have played in every game so far this year, Kevin Kingston. And gee, that's just let all the air out of the balloon.
The amount of times he handles the football, any dummy half I'm talking about now, but this bloke is so safe, Kevin Kingston, and just when they had a chance to take advantage of the line dropout, he makes a blunder of significant proportions. Bureau's with the ball now. They're in New York right now, and we're excited to have them at 9. Hamish and Andy, it's their gap year. It starts on Thursday at 8:30. So right on the 40-metre line, Manly. Ball being played by Ballon. And an inside ball then for Kite. He flings it out the back, and Joe Nullavow actually was able to play tunnel ball with himself. That's a new one for Joe. Tunnel ball on your own.
Not a bad effort when you have a look at the size of the legs. Well, Manly now back into the Penrith half. You see,
it's laid an egg.
Yeah, he hatched it, you're quite right. Here is Jamie Lyon, and he's outside the 30-metre line. Playing the ball for Glenn Stewart, and he passes to Cherry Evans, and he puts it up high down towards Simmons, who runs a little bit of a block, but he got there before anybody arrived. And it's with Lachlan Coote now, who plays it on the 10-metre line. Here's Simmons bringing it away. Ballon, the chief tackler, taken by Kite eventually. Here's Walsh.
Waterhouse off now. Just to see if there's any concern with him, because Matt Bell only had a short break. Penrith trying to get out of their own end, Joe. If they get to the other end, I'm surprised that they haven't kicked at all. Is it almost in spite, saying, like in defiance, we don't have to kick on the last? I don't understand why you wouldn't put it up a couple of times.
And considering last year that they led the competition with tries from kicks. Now Lachlan Coote, he can fly high and he's got the ability to catch and pass in one motion.
Jennings taken by Stewart.
Well, this afternoon he kicked towards David Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
So Walsh it is that sends it way down to Oldfield. And Oldfield gets it back to a defence that wasn't overly urgent, and Nigel Plum makes the tackle. Tim Grant leaves the field for Penrith. Brett Stewart, who probably hasn't had the high involvement that we've grown used to from him. Here is Hopawate.
Very bunched at the moment, Manly. The play comes this way, that naturally spreads them out, but you see them flat and not offering too much with the ball.
Kite, short for King. I think Brad Fittler said it earlier, it's more like a protective performance from Manly. They got to 6 and I don't know, I think they might have lost some adventure. Talking of adventure, here is Brett Stewart, holds it up, gets it back to Kieran Foran, and Foran goes all the way to put the ball down. Manly score. Well, that's creation more so than adventure. 10-4 Manly with 14 to go now.
There's no substitute now going for speed. You watch Brett Stewart here, wasn't much doing. There was no overlap. There was 3 defenders on 3 attackers. See Kieran Foran setting up play there on the left. Goes to the left, Foran goes to the line, plays out the back. You see it's 3 attackers, 3 defenders, but the speed of Brett Stewart. And look at this, sleight of hand, holds the ball up beautifully. And look at that, 5, 6 jumpers there. But the determination of Kieran Foran, what a player this young guy is.
Here's the conversion from Jamie Lyon, and I told you he'd kick it. So it's a converted try. It's 12-4 Manly with 13 to go now. Welcome back to Sunday football. Match winding down, and you probably get the feeling now with this 8-point buffer that Manly are going to get home, but it's it hasn't had the urgency about it since they got to 6-0. Here's Brent Kite.
Yeah, Des Hasler just fell off his seat when he heard that coming from you. They bring it out now after scoring points. And Stewart well grasped by Nigel Plum.
But Stewart there off the feet, no knock on as the ruling. Joe Nullivar almost to the halfway line. And now it's come away for Cherry Evans, and Cherry Evans puts a kick in down towards the corner, bounces up for Coote, and Coote pursued by Foran, and then King comes over the top of Cherry Evans, and taking the ground. Cherry Evans is still down.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Jason King just fell over the top of Cherry.
Three Stooges.
Purtell able to offload. Kingston gives it on. Sivanasiva up the middle goes Petro, looking to unload. Brent Kite has got a hand on the ball. And here's Coote taking the battering from Cherry Evans and King. And Cherry Evans is trying to get up. He's a bit dazed, and then big Jason comes bang over the top of him. So Daly, Cherry Evans has taken a caning from Jason King big time. So Nathan Smith playing the ball, and it's a penalty. It's a penalty to Penrith.
We've seen some lopsided penalty counts this weekend, and this is another one of them. 9-3 in favour of Penrith. Nathan Smith appeared just to lose the football here, but when Stewart ruled to have interfered or been too close.
Soft one.
It is.
Penrith then, middle of the ground, centre ground, played by Sivanasiva. McKendry is back out there, trampling over the top of Brent Kite. He plays the ball back for a run from Kingston, who beats King. Got it to Walsh. Walsh gives it back to Sivanasiva. Sivanasiva trying to get away from Ballon. Oh, he does that. He flick passes to McKendry, who had nodded off. Petro saying, what are you doing? I don't often throw a flick pass as nice as that. And poor old Sam McKendry has knocked it on cold. Oh, look at this little piece of work by Petro. There it is, look.
Keep that tunnel clear. Time back on, put in.
Depending on how you do your maths, 15 or 16 years of it. Played now by Hopewate. Here's Ballon, goes short to Bura, and Bura is held. Brad Tighe hanging on, and there's Desi. Mata up the middle, 35 out. Held down by Kingston. Played to Ballon, now to Foran. Drops it into that corner again. Sitting down. Coop picks it up. Goes up the sideline again. Gets away from a second. Bura it was. Now Purtell. It's been a 45-metre run, and now it's ended into touch. Oh, what a shame. For a brilliant run by Coote. And Des Hasler blowing up big time. But Coote with a sizzling run, and then Brad Tighe finishes up over the sideline.
Yeah, the inexperience of Michael Oldfield. He comes down and gives Lachlan Coote two sides to beat him on. They've done all the hard work, and then in cover, the front rower, Brent Kite, comes up on Brad Tighe and makes a try-saving tackle. Well done, Brent Kite.
And here's Stewart. He's been good again, Glenn. 31 tackles, 9 hit-ups.
You say Picnic at Hanging Rock, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, Pitt.
Panic Rock Island.
Oh, Picnic Rock Island, not Picnic at Hanging Rock.
King. 30-metre line, held down by Sivanasiva and Smith. Ballon is caught. Massive effort by him to make that tackle on Brad Tighe. 20 metres out from the line. Foran challenges. Bura! 20. I thought he was coming out the other side, but he was held by Kingston. Now they come to Foran. Cherry Evans is with the ball. He got it back for Nullavow. Not held. Scooped up by Cherry Evans, but the referee.
Forward pass from Cherry Evans.
Cherry, go back. Petro, you can play the ball there.
So 7.5 minutes still in this game.
Time back on, play the ball.
Plum. 15 out from the line. McKendry. 12-4, Manly over Penrith. We've had 3 tries for the afternoon. Lyon, the first. Foran, the second for Manly, and Lachlan Coote in between them. Penalty again to Penrith.
Well, there's still time to score twice for the Penrith team, but they need to score in this next set of 6 or their next visit down this end of the field. We've got just over 6.5, so it's got to be now, but after last week, I'm not ruling out anything.
Sivanasiva just racking it up to 33 metres out from the line. 10-3 the penalty count. And Des Hasler, of course, will be probably looking at this match very much with a microscope to see whether that penalty count was fair. Here's Walsh drifting, finding Burns. Burns in, Bell up the middle, and he's tackled 20 metres out, Matthew Bell. He does some good things. This big man, Seliuini, he'll play the ball 5 away. Kite has got him, and so has King. So it's come from Plum and gone to Walsh. He goes back across the ruck, and Glenn Stewart comes up quickly to put Burns down. 5 gone. He'll give a penalty in a moment. He's not careful. Seliuini to Walsh. He stabs it in, and it's loose there, and it's been battered over the dead ball line, I think, by Cherry Evans. It's Matthew Bell there who played a real part in this little passage of play earlier on. I mean, he has a little dig there too at the finish, but Cherry Evans forcing the line drop out and stretching. There is Brett Stewart and Brad Fittler sideline.
There's Steve Georgialis with his last interchange, went for Nafi Seliuini. Just his quick out of dummy half. I don't know why he really had to really go off in a game that hasn't really dragged too much energy out of the players, I don't think. And Darcy Lussick, with 5 minutes to go, goes on for the first time in the game.
Thank you, Bradley. And Sivanasiva, the warhorse, driving it back, and not bad meters actually to get it back 33 from the line. And here is McKendry having a quick look over the shoulder to see if there was a chance, but he was put to ground. Seliuini, Sivanasiva, Walsh, and now it's gone on to Burns. Burns to Smith, and Bureau's there with Foran. Foran asking the question of the referee, was there a tiny knock on? Walsh is with it, inside ball, Sivanasiva, and he's 8 metres, 7 metres, 4 metres from the line, and eventually he's put down just a couple of metres out there from the chalk. Plays it back for Seliuini. It's come away to Walsh. He goes back and finds Coote, and Coote goes lofting the ball over to Smith. He puts a little kick in, and Foran runs it dead. Line drop out again.
Well, they're maintaining the pressure, Penrith, but time is quickly running out. It will be another slow restart as Des Hasler makes another interchange with Vic Morrow coming out. That's why the crowd are reacting. They want time blown out, but he'll be given a little bit of time. Nathan Smith trying to roll it through on that occasion, but the Manly defence is held fast.
The youthful face of Kieran Foran. The dropout is high. It's not overly long, and Walsh sends plumb back to the 30-metre line. So again, it's a good carry back from Penrith, and Seliuini goes to Nathan Smith, who goes down like he's been shot, plays on the 20-metre line. Walsh goes in, McKendry goes up, and McKendry taken on the 10-metre line. Now 3 minutes to go. Time very much their enemy. Here's Ty coming back in field towards the try line, but he's held a metre out. Lussick involved, Kite involved, Purtell passes, Walsh goes on, Sivanasiva looking to hit and spin, does to Seliuini, looking to get rid of the ball as the dummy half, but he's taken to ground by Glenn Stewart again. He's been very, very good, Stewart, today. He and Jamie Lyon particularly, but Glenn Stewart's been so strong in both departments. Walsh rolls it in, Oldfield sends it dead. So 3, or not even 3, 2.5 to go. And George Rose is going to come on as Manly's, I would imagine, their last change. Manly up against the Tigers then. Next Friday night from Blue Tongue at Gosford. That's the New South Wales live match. Broncos Sharks from Queensland at Suncorp. That is the Queensland live game next Friday night.
Yeah, that first one, Manly second on the ladder. The Tigers have won 2 in a row. Tim Sheen said their best performance this weekend was Nigel Plum inside the 30. Manly they're just defending themselves to another win as Seliuini is taken by Glenn Stewart, who's just worked himself to a standstill this afternoon.
Jennings to dummy half. And away from Burns. Then to Walsh. Now to Coote. And Coote attracts Bureau and Foran. And also Lussick. 3 in the tackle as Walsh goes across, dummies once, twice, goes to Burns. Burns puts it on the toe. David Simmons is going to get a try. David Simmons gets a try for Penrith. Almost as they were pulling the curtains down.
Ernie, mate, that'll be the fourth.
He's been good in the air and he's proven good on the ground. They're checking to see that he was inside the dead ball area.
As well as being onside, I don't think there's a problem on either count. He's well behind Travis Burns there. See there that Will Hopewadi had come a long way in. Whilst it's not a great angle to look at from behind, he had plenty of time to get that right, and he did. So when time is blown back on, this will be a very, very quick conversion from Travis Burns.
Still, I think Travis Burns wants to decline the kick.
Decline the kick.
So the try has been awarded to David Simmons. And Travis is declining to kick.
Which is fair enough in this situation. At the moment, they might get a few plays in. I would imagine the referee will probably blow time out here if Manly don't come back as quickly as he would like. We've got 35 seconds left. Stephen Adderay's back. They won't get many play. There it is, timeout now.
Well, one thing's for sure, Travis Byrne, by declining the kick, can't do any more damage to his kicking averages, which we talked about earlier, and it ended going sourly. I understand that.
Well, Penrith only needed 1 second last week to score a try. They've got 30 of them now. They're just under.
Cooch asking McKendry to take it out. One eye on the clock, 15 seconds to go, and they're just inside their own 20. Burns throws a pass a mile forward to Simmons, and Shane has called that. Shane Hayne has called that, and he'll call it a match in a matter of seconds from now. The game is over. Manly have won a game that they seemed to almost prolong and played protectively after they led 6-0 for the major part of the game. Manly has won 12-8.